Hello. Today we will create a many-to-many relation between two entities. First, let's understand what is many-to-many and when we need such a relation. For example, today we will create a table. The table will be named Training Document. Inside we will add some documents. And this table will have a many-to-many with department. What means a many-to-many relation? It's somehow simple to explain. If I show you this one document can have many departments. In our example, document 1 is allocated to production department and to quality department. And one department can have many documents. Quality has document 1 and document 2. Sales has document 2 and document 3. So when we want to create such a relation between two entities, two database table, we need a many-to-many relation. So I hope you have an idea in this moment what means many-to-many. Let's look what table we will create. We will create this table and the name will be training document. And inside the table we will have 3 columns. One column is for ID, which will be created by the framework. We need to add the name and a column for document file. Blazor for Kids is not storing the file in the database. The file will go in a folder in our project structure. And in the database, we just store some information about the file and a relative path to the physical location of the file on the disk. And here I have another table which will be created by entity framework once we define a many-to-many relation. All what it has is document ID and department ID. And every time when we add a document to a department or a department to a document, doesn't matter which order, one row will be created in the database and will be filled with the ID of the document and ID of the department. And we cannot have duplicate rows like this 1 cannot exist like this. It's only once. Now let's go to Visual Studio and create our entity. So let's go to Visual Studio. And here I have already opened the project, and we will go first in the entities folder where we will create our new entity. Add new class. And the name of the class will be training document. Okay, let me make a bit. Yeah. Public. I think you already know how to create an entity with Blazor for Kids. So we will need 2 normal properties, like I said, designer properties, add text property, name, and the other property is the file, designer properties, add file property, and we need to provide a name, document, file. Okay, now we need to create the many-to-many relation between this entity and department entity. And for this, we will use another type of property, designer properties, add many entities. And here we need to specify what type of entity, department, and we need to provide the name, departments. We can let the property like this, but this means that in the department entity, we will not have a collection of documents. Only in this training document entity, we will have a collection of departments. But for the editor many-to-many, which Blazor for Kids is having, we need to have this list of department in training document and the list of training document in the department entity. And in order to create the list of training document in department, we need to add something in the configuration of this property. And this means name. What is the name of the list of training documents in department entity? And I will say documents. Okay, now we are ready with our entity. We did everything what we need. We can go to the web project to create the page for and the grid view for this entity. And also we will create a many-to-many editor. For this, in the features, I will create a new folder. And the name of the folder will be training features. And inside this folder, I will add a new class, which will be training layout, document layout. Okay. I make this class partial. And I will implement the application layout interface to make from this class an Blazor for Kids layout. And now let me say which is the parent of this layout. And I will use home layout because for the moment it's the only one suitable, but in the future we will change it. Okay, now that we have the layout, we need to create our page or pages. First, let's start with the page for the grid view. Create page, training documents page, and the page will have a text, the link of the page. Training documents. Let's add also an icon to look nicer. Page link, icon, and I will use the bootstrap icon for PDF file. Okay, now let's create a grid view. And if you remember, we need to specify the data which comes to the grid view. Training document model, and is coming from training document entity, and the name will be training document grid view. Okay. Now let's add the content. display component, and we just need to copy this name here. And you see, many times you will have red color on types which are usually generated by source generator. In this case, for Visual Studio, if I just save, you will see that this will become green. So the source generator will run when you save the project in Visual Studio and will automatically create the type. Okay, we have the first page. Now, this grid view must have a link column. Let's create the link column. And when we click the link, we need to go to another page, but we don't have yet the other page. So let's create the other page. Builder, create page, and I will name the page departments. So department documents. No, document training document departments page. To be clear that on this page we will add departments which can access a specific document. Page. Okay. Okay, I will make the name smaller because in a grid view column, if you have the text with many too long, will take too much space. Okay, now we have the page. Let's add the page to our link column and give it a name, departments. And we need, I think you remember from the other components, we need to add a query parameter because every time when we click on a link, we need to send also the ID, at least the ID. We can send more information if we want, but at least the ID of the item from the row where we click the link. And in this case, we will take the ID and the name will be Training Document ID. Okay, save. And now we have two pages, one component. Let's add also the many-to-many editor to this page. And for this to create is the only editor which the syntax is a little bit different than the other components created by Blazor for Kids. In this case, we need to start with the entity. We need to pass two entities. The two entities from the relation. In our case, relation is between training document and department. So we need to pass these two entities in the order like we define it. For example, the relation many-to-many is defined in the training document. So this will be the first entity and this will be the second entity. And here we need to add two parameters. First, is to select the relation which we want to update, the list which we want to update. Between training document and department can be more than one relation, and only we know the name. In this example, the name is departments. So I want to update departments. And we need to say the name of the component, which is training document department selector. I hope I spell correctly. Okay, now in this page we can add the content, page content, display component, and we need the name of the component, this long name what we define for the component. And save. So as you see, in this moment, we have the grid view and we have the many-to-many, and we have the two pages to display these two components. But if you remember from the other video, when we want to edit an entity, usually we need to tell to the component which entity we want to edit. This is why we added the query parameter here. So we need to capture this parameter and supply from query with the name training document ID. And now we can create also the strongly type and we can parse the parser. Empty is the method, and here we don't need to do a check because will be done inside this method. Also, last time we made this kind of parameter capture, but I didn't explain why I used string empty. Maybe something is we forgot to add the parameter, or it's a delay in the way how the Blazor framework is passing the parameter to this variable, and it may be null. In order to avoid bugs, we make it nullable, because this variable will be anyhow checked by this method. Now we have the parameter. Let's add the parameter to the component. Component, set parameter, and we have training document ID, and we just need to pass the parameter which we capture up here. Now we are ready with the pages, with the UI interface. The only thing what we need to do is to go to the home layout, and let's add this page, training documents page, to our top menu. In order to be able to access the page. And now we can run the application to see our table. Once the application will be built and will start, we will see already the new page in the header menu. And has opened on the other screen. Okay, so here is our training documents page. If I click, we can see our grid view. And we can try to add, but we will not be able to add document title. And if I try to add something, will tell us, hey, you cannot because you are not authenticated in the application. So Blazor for Kids has some security settings by default. For example, you cannot build with Blazor for Kids an application and to add a component to upload file for users which are not authenticated. This is not a good practice to let everybody upload files on your server. So by default, Blazor for Kids is coming with some validations. In this case, we need to log in order to be able to upload a file. So let's stop the application and let's add login page and logout page to our application. And for this, it's very simple because these pages are created automatically by the framework. We just need to add the menu item for login page and another menu item for a logout page. Okay, but for these two menu items, we need to add some options. Because, for example, login page is nice to be visible when the user is not authenticated. And if he's not authenticated, then we show login page. But once he is authenticated in our application, he don't need to see this page anymore, but we can show him this page. So this switch between visibility we can manage with options. This kind of options you have to all menu items. Visible to, no, hidden to authenticated users, and this one will be visible to authenticated users. Okay, but in order to log in, we can create our manually new user for the application, or we can use a method which came with the template, this method, which practically is creating for us, for debug purpose, few users, an admin, an editor, and a viewer. And once these users are created, they also receive some roles. And later in our application, we will use these roles to allow or to check if some type of user can access different kind of information on our application. So let's also add this method create. Okay. After the database is recreated, we'll add departments, employees, and also these users which we can use during debug. Perfect. Now let's run the application. Again, the database will be deleted, recreated, and this time we should be able to add a file. Login, and I will use the admin with password, a very strong password. Okay. Now I'm authenticated, and you see I already have the logout. If I log out, yes, and I go to the home page, I see login because I'm not authenticated. Login again. Now I'm authenticated and I see logout. Now I can go to this training document and let's add a document. one. And I just take a picture and create item. And we have this item created. And if I click, I can see the picture. Okay? So this means that somehow this picture is already in our application. Let's look where. So here in the web project, we have this new folder which we didn't create, was created by the framework, uploaded files. And all the files which we upload are in this folder. And inside this folder, there is another folder with uploads, and you can change the name of the folder if you want. And here we have the image what I just upload. And how the framework knows how to create and where to create this folder are settings which you have in this app settings. And you see here, upload settings. And it's a path and the way how we can request the files. Let me show you. If I hover over the image here, in this corner, you can see, or look also here, you see files, uploads, and a random name for our image. Okay, so in this moment we have an image, and technically we can add departments. So if I go on the link, here I have a component which on the left has all the departments, and on the right are selected departments for this image what we just upload. And I just click on the department and I move it to the right. And this means that sales and quality have now access to this image. Okay? It's quite simple. And yeah, I talk a lot, and this is why we already have 25 minutes from our video. But I hope you understand how this can be achieved in Blazor for Kids. Next time we will do something more on the UI, because now it's almost half an hour video. Thank you.